What's up, everyone? It's Gavin.
What's good? What's good? It's Marcus or Pink.
What up? What up? It's Charles or Chuck.
All right, so we have a few things to talk about today. Sorry, without Haz, it's a little difficult to be seamless with it, but Umebura happened. That was pretty exciting. We got the Luminosity Smash Invitational up in a couple weeks as well. I also just uploaded some more Patreon bonus content, so if you want to see that plus some future VOD review, feel free to check that out. Appreciate all of you that already do. Yeah, how you doing, Charles?
I'm doing good. There's a little bit of construction going on downstairs at my place, and by that I mean they're like literally extending a wall outward, so they're removing part of the wall. So while I'm talking, you might hear a little bit of construction, but I will try my best to keep my mic muted when I'm not talking. But yeah, I mean everything's been going good. Work's been going good. Learning Korean's been going good. Staying consistent. Love to see it. Oh, there it is. And Pink, how you doing, man?
Oh, joy, the life and times of Pink. So last week I was like, hey, nothing bad's happened. That's good, right? Okay. And then my car got stolen. So, um, life's, and when it rains, it pours. So we're just waiting to figure out what's gonna happen with that. It sucks because it's like the newer car. Like we bought a new 2021 Kia Soul in 2021, like fresh off the lot. So it just sucked that it was like our new car, not like the whatever, and we weren't like aware of like the Kia thing at the time. So but like got all the security updates and everything, and we're like, oh, I mean, we've made it 3 years, and like we didn't know that it was still a thing. So um all good. I mean, it sucks that it's stolen, but we'll figure it out. I mean, I can't just like sit there and wallow and be like, oh no, our car. So life moves on, and we're just gonna figure things out. So sucks, but that's life. So there's me. How's it going, Gavin?
Not bad. Um, Preparing for the next tournament. Um, Doing my usual side quest. Played a bit of Yu-Gi-Oh. Been playing Dragon Quest. Um, Dude, I
Kevin, make
just
sure
want to
you're
talk
like
about.
close to the mic. You're cutting
Oh,
out a little bit.
sorry, I'm probably
You're
cutting
good.
out. I'm sorry. I'm
Yes, you're
sorry.
cutting out. Lock in, lock in.
Um, I want to talk about Leo's Meta Knight. That's the main reason I'm here. Because that
I think we all
character,
want to talk about Leo in general and
Yeah,
that
Umebura. Like that
character
was
is
crazy.
the hero we need.
it's really funny because yeah, okay, so we always have like a pre-show talk, and today we were like, I don't really know if we're gonna do it, and I'm like, Gavin's like, I want to talk about Leo's Meta Knight. And I'm like, all right, we're locked in. Like, hey, we're locked in for today. Like, that's what he wants to talk about, and let's get into
That
um,
character is just fundies, and
yeah.
if Leo just puts some time in, the advanced state will come in, and
Hmm.
he'll just lock in. It doesn't matter what matchup he's playing. He can just chill, play some neutral, get some damage, recover consistently, edge guard consistently. Like, bro, there's this combo he did versus Doramiki where he did like out to the side plat of town, and he landed with a few up airs. He hit the side plat, turn around, up air, back air.
Hmm.
Like that was clean, bro. Like I just I think that character is good, and I think he's fundies. Like, I really wanted to see Leo versus Zachary. I wanted them to play Pit versus Meta Knight. I feel like that would
Golly.
be kind of in Meta Knight's favor, but
Who cares? Like that. Those are just two funny characters going at it.
yeah,
Like
like
it just sounds
I've
so
been
so
playing
fun to
Meta Knight
watch.
ever since, bro. I've been playing Meta Knight every night. Yeah, that was clean, bro.
Goodness.
Like the games Leo was winning with Meta Knight, he had multiple three stocks versus different
Got a
people.
lot of three stocks.
Like that character, like I feel like Meta Knight's good when he gets a lot of momentum, right? And he gets the right hit. And he just puts a lot of fear into you. And but I also think he's solid at like holding his ground when he's at a deficit. As long as you don't like play like too focused on like, you know, running into them with dash attacks or landing on them with moves. Like I feel like he can crawl his way back from a deficit, and also he can get a lot of momentum when he's winning. Like I don't know, I just like the way that character plays. Like I feel like everything flows really well if you're clean with the character. I don't know, that character's clean, bro.
Bro loves Meta Knight.
I do. He's one of my favorite characters, like, in my head right now. Like, if I could just, like, copy paste, like, all of my ideas and play Meta Knight right now, I really think it could work. I truly think it could work.
Yeah, I mean, for a long time we've known he's a good counterpick character. I think it would actually have to be Meta Knight Pit. Well, I don't know, because Meta Knight I think is pretty good at laddering Pit. I think Pit's like
Yeah,
that weight, that certain
yeah.
weight fall
That's what
speed.
I was
Where,
thinking. Like, he can
yeah,
actually die off the top.
but also like as far as I'm aware, I think Meta Knight also does pretty well against Rob also. So
I was going to bring that up. I feel like, yeah, I mean, both the Zachary's characters that he's been playing in tournament, I don't feel like do amazing versus Meta Knight. But
yeah,
Dude, Meta Knight's lit.
okay,
Like,
hold up. What does Meta Knight do against Steve though?
I don't know.
That's where I'm kind of like for
Does
me, I
Tornado
think
beat the minecart?
it probably trades.
uh,
That's what we're excited about.
bro, you are living in Brawl right now. You're like, wait, does Meta Knight Tornado beat the best move in the game?
Well, bro, I'm watching Donkey Kong's moves beat it.
Oh, true.
he's
True.
he's
I mean,
invincible, man.
maybe. But I just feel like right now for Leo, it's a perfect counterpick character. All the characters that Leo struggles against have very horrible recoveries, so you can just go off stage. Especially Minmin. Minmin has been a thorn in Leo's side for so long. So at the bare minimum, amazing counterpick character. But I do agree with Gavin. I think it can expand to maybe more than just a counterpick and maybe more of a duo main, or I mean, eventually, if he solo mains Meta Knight, that would be the most lit timeline ever. Because
He needs to
we're
lock
just going
in.
back in time. We're going back in time.
He needs to lock in on some Meta Knight and needs to lock in on some Marth.
Whoa, Smash 4.
Dang, we're
Whoa,
taking it all the way back.
We sure are.
whoa. I
Damn,
mean, you know me, I'm always going to
I'm
advocate
always
for both
about that.
styles. Like,
Bro,
you,
Always about that.
this character just freaks people out when he gets momentum.
yeah, he's a little scary.
Things like really play themselves out if your opponent's panicking, bro. Like, I don't know. I think this character's super. His grab range is trash, so that was making me mad last.
Yeah,
There's
he
even
has
like
some bad grab range.
even just Meta Knight being good against floaties as well. I just feel like Meta Knight is such a good counterpick character. Bad recovery, floaty, those are very general things in Smash. So
Yeah,
and you just have a good neutral as well. You're solid, you're short, right? You have good ground speed. You don't have the best air speed, but you have multiple jumps. Even Meta Knight just like double jumping, or not double jumping, but just jumping in down air, like jump down air in disadvantage is also a very solid option. It's like really annoying as a Fox player if you like, even if you read the jump, Meta Knight's like fading backwards with a very safe hitbox too, right? So it's kind of hard to track. You got to guess which way they're jumping and stuff like that. So yeah, I feel like Meta Knight is a
bro, he
very solid
dropped 2 of
character.
those combos, and it was still 0 to death.
Dang, the dropped is that the Kazuya? I dropped my combo twice, but I still got the 0 to death.
Yes, like Meta Knight just freaks people out when you get the specific hits that you know are really dangerous for you to get hit by, and people just start playing poorly. I swear. I mean, in from Min Min's perspective, it's pretty tough when you get hit by some of those specific things, but still,
Help!
bro. Yeah, it's definitely a help type of vibe, but that character's nasty. Telling you.
I
Dude,
just
he
want
just
to
went out
say,
there and forward air twice at one point.
remember
Like,
when
you can just forward air them sometimes, and that's it.
they
Oh,
first
dash
said
check,
like
shuttle loop.
when everybody was like, bro, Leo has a min problem. What was the first thing I said? Hey, look into some Meta Knight, bro. You used to play
Yeah,
Meta Knight, like the matchup's good.
3
Uh
star.
the honestly I think it's even. But anyway, it's matchup's good. It's better than what he's been playing, so and I'm glad that he's finally exploring it because he's probably gonna better player every Midman out there because like realistically he's just a better player. I mean that man's a goat. And he's gonna make the situations happen where
Yeah,
he doesn't take as much damage trying to get in. He's really gonna take his time, and
yeah,
whenever he gets a hit, he's gonna make it count for sure.
yeah,
Um, so it's just really cool to see him picking Meta Knight and really exploring it. And it also covers a lot of his other matchups. Like Meta Knight Sonic apparently isn't that bad. Like I could see it being playable.
bro.
I'm sure Meta Knight can do pretty well against the rats. I don't know if it's winning, but I'm sure it could do pretty well. And then even then, I mean, we saw the Byleth come out, so it's not like he's locked into Meta Knight. He was struggling versus Shulk in a few matchups. He did win one, but Against Akio, he had to pull out that Byleth, and it was, bro, that was the fastest turnaround I've ever seen in a set. And I'm glad that he's willing to do that. Like, he's willing to just be like, hey, everybody else is doubting Byleth. You know I love me some Byleth. Everybody else is doubting Byleth. Like, but I still think he's good and he has some uses. So I'm going to pull it out when I feel that it's necessary. And he does it with extreme confidence. Like, whenever the Byleth comes out, he's very confident that he can win with Byleth. So it was cool to see that. Especially because Byleth, I think, even if the matchup isn't necessarily in uh, the favor, like if Joker has a better matchup, I do think there are some habits that Byleth is better at exploiting, and I think Leo took note of that specifically against Akio's Shock, where like he kept trying to skip ledge with a jump and speed, and like Joker doesn't really have a way to contest like speed or jump Shulk nair or forward air on the way down. But like Byleth has a giant up air and like different ways to catch landing with dash attack, down tilt, and all that. So the switch made sense in my head when he did it, and I was like, oh, it's really cool to see him even recognize that. You know what I mean? He's like, dude, this is annoying. Like I know what's happening, but I'm not getting strong enough punishes. And I feel like that's something that was happening with like him playing against Kazi and stuff. So it's cool to see him picking Meta Knight into characters like Kazi and Mimin. It's just, I don't know, it's solid.
Bro,
Uh-oh, not
Oh,
Meta Knight.
dang, he's coming in.
Not the
What's up?
bro.
What's up?
bro. Do you think if Meta Knight applied a reverse sharking strategy versus Steve, it would be effective? If you're like precise with it
Are you
enough?
talking about planking?
No, reverse shark,
No, like
like
Eric.
air, like
Yeah.
air
Oh, like,
camping.
oh, okay, like you're air camping
Not
with
like
down air.
brawl, but like somewhere in like kind of similar, but
Okay.
like more honest. Like you're not just like you're moving to platforms and like fading in and out and like
It's
landing with.
you're depending on
Because that
dimensional
would
take.
be so good versus minecart. Minecart would
Y-
never be.
Yeah, when I think
Effective.
about that strategy, Gavin, it's like I think Meta Knight could do it a lot easier in Brawl because you had glide. So you're like air camping, but then eventually you don't want to run out of jumps and land, right? So
You don't
platforms are
have
always gonna
to.
have.
You don't have to do that. You don't have to do
Well,
that.
if it's something like Battlefield, then absolutely, right? And
Yeah, you
then
have down B
you
too.
well, I was gonna say instead of glide, you have dimensional
You can
cape
use
to
his
like
walls
mix up
against him
left.
while you're like kind of sharking and threatening the mine, and then just like go on each side of the wall and then just keep doing it.
I
Right.
also think forward smash would be really good against taking out blocks. It's got the range, it's got the power, it has
And then you
not
dash
so much
attack burst.
cooldown. Yeah, and then you have the dash attack burst too. You have down tilt if you want to be a little bit more safe, but forward smash has a lot of range, a lot of power, and then it doesn't have a lot of end lag either, so you can immediately go into shield if you feel threatened and stuff like that. I could kind of see it. I mean, this is obviously just like theory crafting and stuff like that, but the way I view Leo's journey so far is, to me, a lot of players have gone through, especially in the beginning of Ultimate. I feel like duo maining is not really a thing. I think the closest thing we see to it is like maybe, Riddles right now, Proto, right? But I feel like the best players at duo maining or like tri maining were Tweek and Leo, especially pre quarantine, right? And I always admired the way they did it because they didn't really look at it just sheer matchup wise. It was kind of like what kind of tools you needed, right? And the thing that Pink just explained is a perfect example of that. Even if Byleth isn't necessarily like crazy good, it's like, okay, I need to hit harder. I need more consistent range and width on my juggling, right, with the Byleth up air and all that jazz. So I would like to. The big question here is, and also when we see Leo play Meta Knight, you get to peek more into his play style of the whiff punish movement oriented characters, right? Because he's obviously known for the sword characters, but the thing that made Leo so good is you could play characters like Meta Knight, like Joker, right, where they're more whiff punish, they're more movement based, and they're more neutral based. Not to say that sword characters aren't neutral based, but you're more neutral with your movement rather than big hitboxes, right? So I wonder if Leo leans more towards Meta Knight. Does the Joker kind of fade away, and is it more like Meta Knight plus a sword character? Because to me, if I were to think about Leo's lineup, I would like him to play a sword character and a neutral character that's movement based, right? Like a movement character and a sword character. So I wonder if Leo's going to go more towards the route of Byleth Meta Knight, if he's going to keep the Joker around. It's a really tough call, but it really comes down to what you're facing, right? Like the current meta right now, if you want to win a tournament, you got to beat Steve in Game & Watch. That's just, you have to get to them first, obviously, but if you want to win a tournament, you have to beat both those characters. So I'm very curious to see which characters Leo go for to answer the current metagame right now to win a P tier.
Bro, they just need to, both of them, Gavin included, they just need to sit down and lock in who they feel like playing at the time, man. Like I don't get it. Yeah, sure, we could just play Joker, but like there are some days where he just sits down, he locks in Aegis. I'm talking about Leo, not Tweek. That would be I mean, who knows? Maybe he locks in Aegis, but I mean, some days Leo locks in Aegis and it looks like his best character. There are some days he locks in Byleth. It looks like his best. This Meta Knight is fresh. I think whoever he's feeling his creativity for and he's feeling inspired to play at the time, you should just sit down and lock it in. Like, and
Yeah.
I like the same thing. Like Gavin hasn't played Wario in years, and it was looking pretty good against Zamba until he missed the WAF, and then
Bullshit,
the
bro.
tilt. Come on, like it.
I
Hey
thought
man,
that shit was
you
gonna
missed
hit.
you missed Waff on Raw, bro. No
Yeah.
excuse.
Dude, I waited for the tech.
Oh, that's right.
but um but like he realistically, if Gavin decides I want to play Wario this tournament, he can just lock in Wario. He would do very well. There are obviously like some matchups where he can't do that. Like he's not gonna be like, oh man, I feel like playing Wario this tournament, and then Sonic's is in his path, and he's gonna be like, yeah, I'm still locking in Wario. Like he's gonna have to make some adjustments. But same thing with Leo. Like he wanted to play Meta Knight Joker this tournament. Sometimes he found that he needed to play Violet. Like I don't know. I think they're good enough, and I don't think the game is at a point where there are players that are so dominant that you can't just pick who you want. Like Sonics and Akola, and I guess Mia are the closest. Spargos, I guess those four are like the closest. But for the most part, I feel like you can just play who you want on that given day. If
We
you
saw
have the
Spargo
experience
kind of
with it.
do that at Supernova, right? Just
I
whip
think
whip
that's
out the
just
Roy. Like,
I
dang.
Just
just
lock it.
agree. It's
Yeah.
important.
Bro, he locks in. He's practicing Roy. He's like, yeah, I just think I'm gonna try Roy. Like, I mean, sure. Like, I don't know. I do think there is a level of mastery required with said character, but I do think that you, Spargo, Leo are good enough to reach that level of mastery with the character in a very short amount of time. And I think once you reach that point, it's very hard for it to like leave your body. It's like it's muscle memory. Like you're not going to be able to just not play the character at all. But if you like warm up the character at the event, you're probably gonna be good enough to be successful with him.
I mean, it's big who you're inspired with and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I get so many questions every day when I stream.
Where's Young Link? Where's PT?
Why do you play this character? Are you playing this character because you're countering this character or player? And like, no, nothing I've ever done was because of a matchup chart or because of a certain player.
Yep.
You pick who you like and you figure out all of that stuff after the fact. Like, where are the compliments? Like I people I think should realize that, especially like someone like Leo, right? Like it's really not as on paper as you would think.
Yep.
Like it's really just vibes and who you're playing well with, who you're inspired to play. Like the when Marcus used that word, I thought that was very key. Um like I think that's just a big human thing. Like it's what keeps me going. Like I have phases with a bunch of characters, and I think a lot of people might view it as silly because I might like not use them in tournament or things come and go. But to me, it's like it's all worth it. All the experiments are worth it. Every character I've ever taken seriously started off with some sort of like weird idea or like experiment. Like when I played PT, I didn't intend to do everything I did. It was more so I just noticed the character was successful and I thought I could imitate it. And that was it. And then it just went farther than I expected. When I picked up Wario, it was because the game just came out and I thought to myself, "Oh, in this game he can probably do up throw up air. In this game he can probably do down tilt dash attack because of the new dash attack." And after all of it worked, it just went from there. Like it's never like, oh, I'm gonna pick this character for this player or this character for this matchup chart. These two characters are gonna complement each other perfectly. Like that's all stuff you figure out after. Like, and for Diddy, it's the same type of stuff. I told myself I would play Diddy if they removed the infinite. That's it. Simple as that.
Yeah, I also feel like you as a player and as someone who has coached multiple top players, like you also have to believe in the character too, right? One of my
Yep.
first questions every time Gavin brought up a new character while I was coaching him was like, I was like, do you feel like this character's strong? Do you feel like this character can win? And we would obviously talk about all the different options and why he thinks they're strong and all this other stuff, right? So I think there is definitely an in between where you want to hit where it's like on paper and inspired. Because if you're inspired by Ganon, if you have real friends and your
No,
friend
I'm
wants to be the
not.
best in the world, right? Well, I'm just saying, I'm like, for example, right, like some insert random lower bottom tier, right? And say one of your friends are inspired and they're like, I want to be the best, I want to win a P tier with this character. It's like, oh dang, sometimes you got to come in with the reality check, right? But obviously, especially with a lot of top level players, they know what's strong in the game. They've experienced the game. They've experienced the game in even high pressure scenarios, right? And that's something even as a coach where I would have to also hear that out, because I know there's other coaches where they think of the game fully on paper, but you're not taking the human side of it. So for me, I'm more towards an on paper person, but I also take into account and value the experiences of top players because they play in a way different world than you play at your locals or in friendlies and stuff like that. The pressure of being on that stage is, it's something I can't even explain, right? I've never been there. So, but other top players have, and they understand the game in those specific scenarios. And in those scenarios, that's when you have to win. That's when it fucking matters, right? So,
Meta Knight can do it, bro.
Yeah.
you're
He
saying
can
Meta
do
Knight
it.
can win on that stage, bro? He can win on that stage? Oh, dang.
I'm
That's a
serious.
statement.
I'm
Okay, holy
serious.
shit. That's a statement. Holy.
Yep. And that skin that Lyle uses is clean.
Oh, yes. That's the classic right there,
Yeah, that's
man.
a classic, bro.
I've been watching Leo ladder people with that Meta Knight skin for quite some time.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm actually shocked at. I wonder how long he's been practicing Meta Knight because I'm shocked at how confident he looked when he picked it.
Yeah,
He was
he's
just
just swinging, bro.
he was like, "Yeah, I got it." Like,
He
but
double
I know
dash tack.
I know he's been playing it for a few tournaments leading up to Umebura. He's beaten like a bunch of Kazuya's with it, um, and a few other. I think he may have played some Alamars with Meta Knight. I'm not too sure on that one, but it seems like he does know what matchups he wants it for. What's interesting was watching him versus Alice specifically, because he would normally go Joker into Roy, but he doesn't really like Joker into Kazuya. So he just started Meta Knight. I was like, bro, I mean, hey, I could beat Roy with Meta Knight, which is quite interesting to think, but I guess Meta Knight does have the tools for that. So it's like a weird thing where, like, even though he was down in counter picks, because what I wanted to see was if Leo won game one uh, and lost game two, would he switch to Joker versus the Roy? That was something I was really interested in, but it never came into play because Leo was always down in the set. But it didn't really feel like he was down when you were watching. Like the games he lost, yeah, last hit, really
Yeah,
close.
one
Oh,
decision.
the
But the
game
games he
he
won,
won,
bro.
oh, bro, like
Three
just
stock.
three stock, huh? Or was the was Alice the reverse three stock? There was someone he
Yes.
reversed three stock. Yeah,
I
he was
think
like
it
getting
was one of
cooked.
the it was game 1 or 2, I think.
Oh, it was game five because I remember the Town and City pick
Oh,
came
yeah.
in. The Town and I was like, bro, ain't no way. Like Town and City's actually pretty good for Meta Knight because back air will kill early off the side, and so will Nair if he's like doing the ladder.
And that's the
But
main way he kills,
Bro,
yeah,
back air base
off the
knockback is
side.
not
it's
fair. That
ridiculous.
move is so messed up, and you can combo into it. It is
Yes.
insane.
I was like, bro, like, yeah, Alice picked Town and City, but he hasn't even been killing off the side with side B too often. So like, and he hasn't been really getting jab back airs too often. So it's not like we're gonna see this come into play because Leo had really good DI on the jabs. First stock, bro, just got jab side beat. I was like, oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
I was watching your mental process throughout that whole thing. I was just hyped to see, like, because Meta Knight momentum
Dude,
hits different. Like, That's what I'm searching for right now with my Meta Knight gameplay. Like, how can I do that every single time, every game? Like, how can I have that level of momentum all the time? Or not necessarily doing it all the time, but like to like tap into it as soon as it's ready. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, because it's like when you're playing against Meta Knights, or at least for me, it feels like, well, I'm Min, so it's a little different, but um when you get hit, you go into instant panic mode. It's like, oh
yes,
snap, like here comes the ladder, here comes the off stage scenario. How many jumps does he have left? Like, oh, am I gonna get clipped here? Is he gonna wait for the air dodge? Am I gonna get hit by NATO? Like what do I have left? I'm panicked, right? If you lose your stock and you come back and you don't win the invincibility and then you get hit again, it's double panic. You're like, bro, I just went through this. Like,
the trick,
please,
the trick
please.
to it, if you're fighting Meta Knight, is that first hit you get hit by. It may look like it's the hit he needs. It's not. It's when you do the really shitty disadvantage thing. That's when he kills you because he gets another hit. That's actually the hit he needed. It's always that, and I just want to find like I want to be able to do that to as many people as I can.
Goodness.
I
Bro,
feel like you like characters like that though, Gavin, where it's
yes,
just
I
like, yeah,
love characters
I
like
think
that.
you really enjoy
That's
where
how
it's
I
like,
play
oh,
Bayo. That's how I play Bayo.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
Well, Bale was a you had to panic versus Bale. Let's not even talk about that. But anyway, uh, yeah, it's so I would love to hear your experience, Gavin, with since I love how Pink brought up that, especially with some of our legacy players that have been around for quite some time since like Brawler Smash 4, do you feel, or even just like early Ultimate at this point, just because Ultimate has been around for so long, like you going Wario in bracket recently, that all of that old experience that you have with the character with Wario, right? How long do you feel like you have to kind of play or warm up the character till you feel like you're up to par? And with how fast the meta is advancing, how risky does it feel? I would just love to hear your perspective because it's probably the closest thing we would have to just asking Leo directly himself, right? I just feel like you two have the most legacy experience, especially when we talk specifically about early Ultimate and you guys going back to earlier mains. And the crazy thing is we've never even seen Leo play too much Meta Knight in Ultimate. So it's for him, it's more of a throwback to a previous game. But I mean, I feel like you have those characters too, right? Like I know you dabbled with Cloud and stuff like that. So even talking about past game characters or even just early Ultimate characters and how you feel kind of getting them tournament ready and how that old experience really comes through.
Yeah, there's just a couple things like I think that's really valuable in Ultimate right now is characters that don't have to go to ledge. And Wario doesn't have to do that much. Like when I look at characters like Snake and Rob, it's actually crazy how often they benefit. Or like Hero is actually a big one right now too.
Oh, Zoom. Yeah, yeah.
Dude,
Make sure you're closer to your mic too, Gavin. You're cutting out a bit.
Hero is OD right now. But yeah, it kind of reminds me of. I also had a small realization with like item characters when I started playing Diddy a few years ago, and I feel like that like skyrocketed like a couple years after I started playing Diddy, just in general. Snake, Rob, Diddy, each probably should be better than she is right now too. Like item characters are ridiculous because they counter all of the Ultimate's mechanics. Bot dodge canceling, low lag, all this stuff. If you're whiff punishing them without risking your own hurt box and you're comboing like death comboing off of the items, it's one of the most valuable things right now. So like that and like recovering high and just general like observation that like while you're camping them, like so like there are some situations where I just wanted to warm up Wario. And also like it was just an inspiration thing. Like I saw Gluto win, so I just happened to play Wario like a couple days before Riptide. I was warming up with Zamba, and it felt like my Wario was doing a little bit better. Like it was just all coincidence, and I happened to be playing against him in bracket, so I figured I'd try it for a few. Um, like it's just a couple things. Like the hardest thing for me when I try to play Wario is there's like there's like 2 or 3 different styles I think you have to be ready to use, like, to consistently do well with Wario, and I need to make sure my brain is open to doing more than my layer 1 style, because I get blown up really quick if I try to do like force things that won't work versus every character. So if I like it's like certain aerials, I start to like switch priority in my list or like different perspective of like bike or like bite or grab or like what ground moves I use how often. Like there's just a few things I switch and I if I can notice I'm switching them really easily, I know I'm warmed up. And it took a few days, but the question is like if I'm in tournament, if things are happening so fast, will I like just play layer 1 and like, play too fast and not play efficiently? Because there's some matchups where like if I try to fight like Damba's Rob, like how I would fight like a Bowser, like I'm not gonna like it's gonna like before I can blink, I'm gonna be dead or something. So like you need to become more of a forward air Wario than a nair Wario. You need to be more willing to like stay in shield rather than always like fight out of shield, like just stuff like that. Um yeah, there's just a couple things. Like and like when I was watching Leo's Meta Knight, like I think if he had a little bit more efficiency in his neutral, he would have been able to get those like that momentum he was getting with those 3 stocks without being in like a game 5 situation. Like, so, it's stuff like that, like where I just think it's so promising that he did so well without having the best neutral. Like it wasn't that great. I thought it was really good, and I thought there was situations of his advanced state that were really good, but like obviously that too. Like some of his combos were 2 pieces or like 1 hit in general. So I think if he's winning that, like Dorami's one of the best players in the world right now, and if he's like just getting that much momentum that easily, I think the character is so promising. Like all this excitement and stuff. Also, like I'm being genuine. Like I think the character is actually really really good. Like I've always kind of thought that, but like I like watching like a good player do it too. Because it's such a good balance of like why Meta Knight is fundamentally good, and he did have a hint of strong advantage state too. So if he just upgrades all of that, I just think it's very good.
Yeah, and also it's like the Leo Meta Knight that I saw at Umebura is not the same Leo Meta Knight that I saw at the Taiwanese event that I can't remember the name of. That was a few weeks prior. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he's getting the reps in from the tournament experience that he's going to. I do think that, like Gavin said, his neutral. I mean, it's Leo, right? So it's going to be solid.
Yeah.
But he wasn't hitting the best punishes. He wasn't like his situational awareness wasn't the best sometimes. Like you could see him
Yeah.
kind of figuring stuff out on the fly. He started using like in this set alone, he started using Tornado more against Roy Recovery. He was like, "Oh, this trades. Like I'm not going to die."
Yeah.
And you could see like the cogs turning, and I think that's what's really interesting is for someone who uh has
Like
tried a
this
lot
is how you should be scrapping. It's more full hoppy, and it's the occasional down air and the occasional because when he was losing to Alice, it
of
would be Alice aerials his shield. Leo does a short hop area out of shield. Leo gets hit. But when he went down 3 stocks to 1, it was so much more deliberate and like occasionally slow, grounded when he had to be, full hop out of shield when he had to, like pressuring the air with down air. Like he would get a couple down tilts and he wasn't forcing it. He didn't get the trips on the down tilt, but he wasn't holding forward after the down tilt. Like and it's because he's on last stock. Like he's on his winner stock life where everything mattered. But I think you it kind of reminds me of like everyone's dream wolf player. Like the classic like oh combine Jackal with Harley or do this with Tweek's wolf style or Zachary's wolf style. Like Meta Knight can like I think he can do that better than Wolf, where he can actually have the crazy like flip switch from neutral to like kill mode better than Wolf. Um,
Well, his highs are
and
so much higher, right? In terms of because Meta Knight also has the cheese factor, where it's just like,
and he
oh,
doesn't.
I got a
It's
double
not
jump off
as
stage, you're dead
risky.
at 40.
His
Yeah,
openings
it's
aren't
not a,
as
yeah.
risky or hard to get. I don't.
Yeah, because
Um,
Wolf has to go for like hard drift fair, like drifting
yeah.
in fair and stuff like
Also,
that. So
sometimes
it's
off grab. That's a big one. Like
mhm.
like it's like the Mario Wario thing, where,
Oh,
like,
thank you.
people don't realize how big it is that Mario kills you off grab, and Wario doesn't kill you off grab. Stuff like that is big, and, like but also, I think it's important that, like, I'm not so interested in Meta Knight/Leo's Meta Knight because of the typical, like, Meta Knight kill you at 0 scenario. It's the exact opposite. Um, that's just the cherry on top, where but, I think Meta Knight's neutral and just, um and I even think, because I think one thing that's misunderstood about Meta Knight is he does have terrible disadvantage sometimes, like, kinda like Pit, where, like, you have all these resources and jumps, but sometimes it doesn't matter because you can't get anywhere when you're getting, like, beat up by certain characters. But I still think there's room to grow in that area. Like, when I've been playing the last couple days, there's moments where I definitely force it, and then there's moments where I really play it out and play really, respectful and just work my way out of the situation. Like, I don't know. That last stock versus Alice when Chris was playing it on the screen, you can like Marcus was saying, you can see the cogs turning, and it was just a small tempo change, especially in the scraps where it's like shield versus shield, shield, aerial, whatever. Um, I don't know.
Set
I
up
just think
full
Meta
hop and
Knight
all that, yeah.
Meta Knight can just thrive in all these situations, I think. And this is versus Roy, who's like very, very uh Roy's the type of character that can give Meta Knight a hard time because he can't get anything started if he gets overwhelmed. Like, think of Roy or Fox or something. Um, but it's still doable. And, if we think of Kazuya, you might just hit them one time off stage at bar. Like, versus Dormigi sometimes, it would just be checkmate versus a multi-hit forward air with a character with a million jumps. Like,
Bro won this game. That's
yeah,
crazy to think. Um,
that momentum can happen even when he's losing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so what's really interesting, there's a few characters like this, and I'm glad we brought up Wolf, and then we brought up Wario and Mario. So one of the things that makes Wolf strong, obviously, is like his aerials, his hitboxes are ridiculous, combos, blah blah blah. But he doesn't have like the best ground moves, right? So when he's in the air, on the way down, you don't really have to worry about too many things when he's going to land. It's either is he going to swing at this time or is he not going to swing at this time? And then the moment he touches the ground, it's not like he's going to get like something crazy after that. Like
Yeah,
he can't like the best thing he gets is a grab as his reward. But as far as like buttons go, he's not going to jab you, down tilt, forward tilt. Like who cares, right? It may start up his advantage state, but it's not going to be anything huge. So you're not fearing the moment he touches the ground. With characters like Wario and Mario, they might be approaching you from the air with like a back air or something like that. But then their mix is like, oh, I might grab you, or I might down tilt you, oh, I might up tilt you. Oh, suddenly there's a little bit more mix. And Meta Knight's kind of the same way because all of them have pretty like safe on shield buttons, and Meta Knight has that like nair on shield, but also I might not nair on shield. I might just empty land shield. I might empty land down tilt. I might empty land weight, and then the grab is also dangerous. So there's a lot. I just call it like transference, but like you're like transferring your pressure from the air to the ground and from the ground to the air. And Meta Knight has that quality. That's something that Wolf doesn't have, which really actually lowers his ability to pressure you in those scenarios. So what Gavin's saying, where like you can scrap much more with Meta Knight with like the down tilt and all that stuff, it's because Meta Knight has the ability to pressure you not only from the air and get big reward, but he also can land on the ground and get the same big reward that he would get from the air.
yeah.
Um, and even if he touches the ground and you decide to jump and he's like, hey, my bad, here's rising up air. You thought like he has another way of getting a strong reward. So when he's close to you, it makes playing the situations out really, really difficult because he gets such big reward in so many different ways.
Kinda like
Yeah.
Sheik-esque, where she can put herself in all these dangerous spots, but she's at such a frame advantage, and she can cover so much at once that, it's a similar strength to what I keep saying about item characters being able to beat the game's mechanics without risking their own body. Meta Knight and Sheik have such good frame data or, something like that, it's usually something like that where with Leo in those situations, the full hop down air, and then he lands and he's, slightly out of F tilt range or jab range or down tilt range for or Roy, but he's like right back in the scrap after the full hop. Like stuff like that is really good. Or Sheik with like certain moves like lingering long enough or being safe on shield or like Mark is saying, like transferring from the air to the ground and everything is equally dangerous. And then there's the occasional like needle with no lag or the B reverse. Or these characters can get out of there at the same cadence they would have fought you with things like dimensional cape and the B reverses from Sheik or just simply drifting away. Meta Knight having jump so he can bait you whether he's being aggressive or defensive. So, like, and like, even directional air dodges become a little bit more ambiguous for characters like that too. Um, so yeah, I don't know. This character is good, and I wish Meta Knight or I wish Leo used it the whole time. Just I know it's a big tournament and you don't want to be too experimental, but I'm very experimental. I love seeing stuff like that. Um, yeah, isn't it's inspiring. Like Marcus said, he can pull out the bile through the Joker. That's fine, but bro,
That Meta Knight
He's
hits.
he's onto something. I swear he's onto something.
I was a huge fan of another thing about Meta Knight as well is you're a fast faller. So these multiple jumps coming in, you can come back down to the ground. I was a huge fan of Leo doing neutral air dodge. It reminded me of some Fox-esque or even, I mean, obviously DDD is not that amazing, but DDD has multiple jumps. He's the fastest faller and second fastest faller in the game. And then so DDD can like jump, and then like fast fall down, neutral air dodge down to the ground,
Yeah.
right? And usually fast fallers don't have that much end lag on their neutral air dodge to the ground. So it felt like a mix of DDD and Fox where it's like, oh, you have multiple jumps, you have access to fast fall, neutral air dodge, and you have very low end lag. So you're in certain scenarios are kind of hard to juggle. You don't have a lot of drift left or right, but that's why you have dimensional cape, right? So I was a huge fan of the neutral air dodge. I love how Leo was ledge trapping as well, like staying in shield, and you can just react with nair or down air. If they ledge jump, you can full hop up air, and
Yep.
it just has such a wide range. And when you're doing a full hop up air, your reward is crazy because it's also a full hop. So the damage, like you're gonna have more hit stun on the full hop, I'm assuming, or at least more damage at the very least. So yeah, I just was a huge fan of that. And I think what's so exciting about this, and I'm sure Leia would agree, is there's so much room. Oh, am I back? I think
You're good.
so. What makes it really exciting is the fact that Leo's Meta Knight has so much more room for improvement. I'm sure Leo would agree as well, just in terms of a lot of different departments. But like Pink said, you're seeing the cogs turn, and it's so exciting to watch a player like Leo, and you're watching the cogs turn live because we've seen this before, right? Like even the first tournament, Leo entered with Joker, he didn't do so hot, and then I mean the rest is history. So it's really cool to see
That
someone
back air
that.
killed at 100.
Oh yes,
On
very
neutral
good.
get up. Yeah.
Yep. You can
And
react to that joint.
I also feel like where the meta has been going the past couple years, I feel like it's very tech chase heavy because players have just been getting better at tech chasing, right? Like even for example, Fox grabbing you and down throwing you onto a platform. It's like, oh, well, I'm supposed to just let Fox grab me, right? Oh, what if Fox grabs me, forces me on a platform tech chase situation, and then I take 4 up airs because he just reacts to my tech option on the platform, right? Meta Knight can do the same thing, and down tilt sets up for just
Yeah.
straight up combos or grounded tech chases, right? So very similar in that sense. Meta Knight also a character that can kind of go for low risk options where it's like, okay, I'm gonna just down smash this tech chase and I pretty much hit everything or almost everything, or I can just react and dash attack. I can react and do another down tilt. Like there's so many different options, and the more refined and the better the player gets in those scenarios, the way scarier the character gets, especially if you're getting dash attacked as like a floaty or
The
something like that.
interesting thing about the
Mhm.
grounded tech chases, I love that you mentioned that for Meta Knight, is he doesn't have to be perfect on the tech chase because like if he does like a jab for consistency and just cover a bunch of stuff and he lands it, first off, his jab is crazy.
Broken.
Second off,
Very broken
That
move.
he
move is
just needs to
ridiculous.
hit you off stage. The jab will always do that. It'll always do a lot of damage. If it's in the corner, it will do a fuck ton of damage. It does like 20 something to 30. Um, and then he just needs to hopefully trade with your recovery, whatever the matchup is, right? Just kill you. Like that's what I like about Meta Knight's tech chasing is you just need to react and like probably just press A. Like and then your the work is after that. But it's just trying to edge guard them. So I don't know. I like that a lot for Meta Knight. And then there's things like setting up reverse down smash, which will also lead into the same thing as a jab. The multi-hit F tilt is nice, like, stuff like
Yeah.
sometimes the tech chases are at percents where you just wanna dash.
And dude, like I just like seeing like real time improvement. Like you could see where Leo's like figuring out where to be in certain positions. Like
Yeah,
he's like, or scenarios. He's like, I need to position myself here because I keep trying to do falling nair on top of Roy's up B, but it's not winning. So how can I like figure out a way to edgeguard Roy? Well, if he's doing low up Bs, then I just need to force him low and then fast fall early so I can get under him. And I'm just like, bro, like, thank you, Leo. Like this, I love seeing stuff like that because it's not as traditional as like oh, they're off stage, I just need to land this one move. I'm
yeah,
gonna go for this one scenario. It's like you get to see like a character's like limits essentially, like how far can I go off stage, or what angle should I take for this scenario. And I think I feel weird saying it, but I really do think like when people say a top player hasn't like picked up your character yet, a lot of times that is true. You just need them to see the way that they would go about a situation when they don't know what's optimal. When they don't know, like, this is the biggest punish, like, I'm gonna get this much damage, like I'm gonna go for this specific scenario, and they just go no, hey, I need to play some Smash Brothers. Like I need to sit down and lock in and know, okay, this character does X, my character does Y. How can I make this scenario work for me? When those players do that, you're like, dude, they're not even doing anything optimal. And it's like, yeah, but they understand what it takes to win. And it's not like this one specific thing. It's like
The
they're
fly.
they're playing some Smash Brothers. And it's cool seeing like the way that Leo takes some of those situations that are not necessarily the most common approach, where they're like, I need to land this dash attack or Meta Knight. I need to land this grab. He's like, I'm gonna take the down tilt. All right, now
yes,
what?
dude.
I'm gonna take the
It's
down
so
tilt.
good though. Like I don't know. Um, I'm just gonna say this now. I know there's gonna be a bunch of comments that are mad. We're not talking
Oh,
about all these other matches.
oh,
Sorry, this is not a news podcast. We just get excited about specific stuff. Um, I'm sorry that we didn't talk about everything. It was crazy that Snow beat Aquila, like all
it
that stuff.
was.
Like, but like sometimes we just run with a certain like we didn't even have this in mind necessarily. So I'm sorry, but I want every viewer to understand I'm not here to talk about every tournament. I'm not here to talk about every match. We're not a news thing. Like when we first started this podcast, we were just yapping and that's it. So yeah, I'm sorry if we didn't talk about something you wanted to talk about. I'm sorry if you don't like Meta Knight. Uh, but yeah, we
Sorry if you
kind of
don't
just
like
vibe.
Leo.
We kind of just vibe here. We're
Who
not
doesn't like
we're
Leo?
not required to talk about a specific thing. I'm sorry. But yeah, sorry. I just wanted that disclaimer out there because I do really hate those comments with a passion.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
Like
Well, don't say that. Now people are gonna send it.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
for
it
sure.
boosts the
Wow.
that's
algorithm though.
fine.
Thank you, thank you,
Hey,
That's
thanks.
fine.
Send those
thank you,
I
comments.
thank you.
All good.
I'm mentally okay with it now that I've given the disclaimer.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
fine.
Um,
okay, nice, nice.
Also, I mean, you
Talk
did
to him,
mention
Tweek. Talk to
Snow.
him.
That was a good tournament, bro. I think his lifetime was 12-2 versus Rauru. So for him to get that W was huge. Beating I mean, huge.
yeah,
People don't beat
he's
Akola.
nasty.
He's very, very good, and I think this was something that I was thinking about when some of the players who don't normally travel came over. Sometimes you just need to experience a different play style or a different way that people think about the game. You interact with certain players and they may tell you certain things, and it could be huge for your growth. So I think Snow traveling to America, Raru traveling to America, same for vice versa. Like people who travel to Japan, a lot of times they come back. Remember, Zamba had his huge glow up after he went to Japan. Sometimes you just need to take that trip. So I'm excited to see where Snow goes from here. I mean that's a huge event, a lot of big W's. He couldn't even believe he beat Alcola, bro. I was like, what? It reminds me of like when people used to beat Leo and they're just like, wait, I won? Like,
The
wait.
Latai pop off, the best
Yeah.
pop off in Smash history.
Oh yeah, bro.
Huh?
or like
So
when Mewtwo
crazy.
King won that summit, and he's like, "Wait,
Oh,
I
that was a
thought
good
of
one
that
too.
one.
That was
yeah."
a good
It's
one.
like, "Wait, I won." Like,
Huh?
Bro,
yeah, but
I
it's
would be
it's
so
hard.
tight. Someone did that to me.
Why?
Like, bro doesn't even know the game count
Yeah.
Bro was
or
locked in.
where they are.
Nah,
Someone hits you
hey,
with the right after they beat you.
nah,
I'm
they were
not
just
taking
locked in.
that. I'm not
Bro,
taking
you
that.
gotta take, bro. If somebody did that to me, I'm like, bro was. I mean, I must not have been as locked in as this dude because I knew I was losing. This dude's like, I'm just playing. Like,
They
okay, my
lying,
bad.
bro.
Okay, buddy.
Oh
It's
my
fake
god.
locked in, bro.
Bro, we almost had Zachary. Dude, shout out to Zachary. He did amazing this tournament.
Oh,
I love that he's playing more Rob. Yes, you
his
cannot defeat all this bullshit with Pitt. I'm glad he knows that, and I'm glad
Yes,
he's
you
playing more Rob.
you
can.
can't.
No,
I think
You
I
can.
think he can beat a good bit of it. I just think
mm,
he recognized that event that his Rob was playing significantly better than his Pit. Like
his Rob was cooking
it
that
was
tournament.
playing very well, and I was looking at his Pit like this isn't as strong as the Pit I'm used to seeing.
I'm Twitch chat right now though.
But
Like I
that
need some pit.
Chat.
I need pit, bro.
But dude, his Rob was playing
Zachary versus Hurt was
incredibly.
crazy.
I
I
saw.
could
I
not.
need to watch the full set, but I kind of missed like the later half of top 8. But I saw some clips of like his recoveries and stuff.
Oh, dude, his recoveries versus Nikita was so
Yeah.
crazy.
Nah, he
Dude,
was locked in.
watching two characters that can literally just fly to the blast zone is so funny because you see Hurt go all the
Wait,
way
these are both
up,
of
and
the
you see
strengths I
Zachary
was just
just
talking
chasing.
about.
True.
Exactly, yeah.
Items
So then you
and
see Zachary.
flying.
Yes, both of them. This is ultimate right here. But you just see Zachary tracing him and like just tracking him and just following with the up B and the double jump too, like saving the double jump and double jump up airing and just catching Hurt like in the bubble practically for one of the final stocks of one of the games. It was crazy to watch these two really, really broken characters go at it.
Yeah,
Zachary is the go. We
these
were
characters.
so close,
These
man.
We
characters
were
can
so
for real
close.
like fly. They can fly.
Yes, they can indeed fly. They
They
just
can
fly.
fly.
They can fly to and touch the blast zone up top and just be like, okay, cool. Like it's like touching the hoop in basketball. It's like,
I'm
all right,
just
cool.
saying.
Hoop.
Next Smash game, if Rob's side B is the same, I guarantee he goes into free fall next game. I guarantee it. If it's not changed altogether, which I doubt it, my prediction is
That's a good prediction,
he'll be able to do it still,
but not off
unless they
stage.
change like gyro. But
Mm,
in a world where it's like a small change, he goes into free fall every time.
bro, we got to talk about the Leo Acola set, man. As much as I don't want to talk about it, dude. Okay,
Meta
so
Knight,
I was at my friend's
Huh?
house and it should have been Meta Knight. Come on, man, lock in. But I was at my friend's house playing Smash and we were watching the tournament. Hawaii time's actually perfect for watching Japanese tournaments because it ends at around like 10 or 11 Hawaii time, so it's amazing. Dude, it's perfect. But so Leo's up 2-0 and then one of my friends like, yo, I side bet Acola. And I was like, at first I wanted to take it, but I was like, my heart wants to take it, but if I was betting a lot of money, I would actually bet Acola in that situation being down 0-2 versus Leo. Acola is just so good at adapting throughout these kind of sets. And then he's so clutch game 5, man. And the fact that Mia beat Acola too was pretty crazy. I mean, he was in winners, right? And then Acola was coming through losers. So
Akola
he
reset
had
the
like the extra
bracket.
set, but he did.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
went
Acola got the
Aegis.
reset. Yeah, the Aegis was looking
Yeah.
clean, man. I got to give it up to Acola. Dude, you can't say he has no fundies because he's coming through. I mean, now Aegis is like overtuned fundies, but you still got to have fundies to play Aegis, in my opinion. I know that character gets a lot of hate, but you still have to have fundamentals to play that character. It's
Dude,
busted fundamentals, but it is fundies.
Mia in Japan is the GOAT. Bro is the GOAT.
That's the true power up. True power up, yeah. On
Also,
homeland.
for anyone out there, if you want to see borderline perfect play, please watch Mia versus Hurt at this event. Like after game 1, I couldn't believe it. I could I felt like he was right. And yeah, like the matchup's not the
I
greatest for
hate
Snake.
players like that, bro.
He was right. He was right maybe like 30 times in a row. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I was sitting there just like, what do you do when you play someone that's right this much? Like, I don't get it. Like you're trying everything you can, and he's just correct. He's yeah, A. I'm choosing the right option. I'm choosing A. And it's just all right, GG's.
That's
Like
Hey,
Zamba, bro. I hate
Zamba.
Zamba.
sometimes he's like that. Spargo
Yeah.
is like that more than most players. Where just he just
Onyx.
yeah, hey, see ya. And
They're
I
so
and
good at being correct.
I just remember because game one I was like, I think Hurt's actually playing better than me, and then after that I was like, bro, what happened? Like what adjustment did you make on the fly to just be like, yeah, I mean, I'm just never gonna be wrong again? Because it's different if you go into a set and you're always right, like your confidence is at an all time high. But when you're just like when you're like kind of losing, and then you're just like, all right, I'm right. Like, like
Right out the gate.
yeah, like what are you supposed to do as an opposing player? Like I don't know. I couldn't believe it. That was that was really crazy to watch. Yeah, my bad. I just
Bro,
had to bring
Snake's
it up.
up air is kind of.
Snake has good aerials despite
Dude, I can't believe you
at
just
forward
killed Game
airs.
Watch at.
They're not like they're not like insane aerials, but
They're
they're
solid.
good. They're good. They're passive. I mean, some of that back air is a little much. I'm gonna be honest. Like,
Back air and down air are OD.
yeah, that's a little much. But
One thing I will say about Mia is there's a lot of players that are noticing that I feel like Mia goes for more fair set play. Like he feels like more of the set play Game and Watch, where Meister feels more of just
Shield.
not going for too much. Yeah, more shield. Doesn't go for as much set play, especially with forward air, right? So, because even Light, I think to end game 3, he just up smashed the forward air. Just straight up smashed it, just blew him up for it. And when Mia does lose his game, I notice it's when people start calling out his fair setups because you could just outright beat it out with the hitbox, right? So there is risk for Game and Watch for going for that because if your opponent mashes, you just get hit because it goes through the fair, hits you. But if your opponent just respects you and lets the fair come out and then it hits shield, you are in such a good position. So I don't think Mia necessarily does it too much. I just noticed when Mia does lose certain stocks or certain games, that's kind of the scenario that he'll get called out on because he likes going for it so much. It obviously, like risk reward wise, it's still amazing. So it's cool to see the Game and Watch meta develop to the point where a lot of players are understanding when to take risks versus Game and Watch because I think that's a big part of what makes Game and Watch so strong. Is like, dang, when do I take the risk versus Game and Watch because his defensive options are so strong, and then if I do take a risk, his advantage state is one of the best in the game, right? So he practically zero to death you if he plays perfectly, right? Especially with the ledge trapping and the neutral B, depending if your character has a way around it or the up airs. So really cool to see all the meta developments going on right now. It just the game we're so far into the game, like 5 or 6 years, but the game still feels like it can be like the players can polish their characters so much more, which is very exciting as a spectator.
I don't understand like the dynamic. Like, I feel like Japan has a Spargon Sonics and NA has a Spargon Sonics. Where like
Or does
Aqua.
NA have a Akola and a Mia?
Oh wait, my bad. There we go. Japan has. Wait, yeah, NA has an Aquila and a Mia. Sorry, thank you. Um, Sonics and Aquila are so consistent, but at least for the second half of the season, um, they're not like winning. And then, well, I mean, this second half, Spargo is just cheating. Bro is beating everybody. I mean, he's not even really losing.
Cheating.
But
This season's crazy because I just feel like the race to first is really close. Like
That
I mean,
joint over.
no, I think Spargo's cooking, but
it's close, man.
it's closer than people probably give it credit for.
I think it's close,
It's
man.
still a lock.
There's a lot of tournaments left still, right,
There's
in
a
the
good bit
season.
left,
Like, dude,
yeah.
we got quite a bit of
Maybe
tournaments,
I'm
bro.
maybe I'm trolling, but I'm still locking it in.
Oh, that's
Honestly,
fair. Oh, that's a fair lock in.
oh, you're
Absolutely.
saying Spargo's just locked in for the season.
Spargo clears. Spargo
No, I'm
clears this season.
saying what he did is enough.
Oh, okay. I mean, back to back P
I'm
tiers,
not
right?
saying he's gonna win everyone. He's gonna win some of the future tournament,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it's enough. Combined with the future results, it's enough.
I hope so.
That would be a very interesting timeline. I mean,
Bro, I haven't played Fargo in forever.
has Ultimate only had 2 different ranked 1 players?
I
Leo
think
and
so.
Aquila, yeah, I think so, man. That is wild. That's pretty
Huh?
crazy.
Well,
That's
I don't
crazy to
know.
think about.
I never realized that.
That's crazy. It would be really cool to see other different players get rank 1. I think Aquila is amazing, but it just, to me, it spices it up. But the shout outs to Aquila and Leo for having the consistency they had during their time being rank 1, and we'll see if Aquila can continue doing it. But
Yeah.
man, the race to
I
1 is very
definitely
exciting right now.
I definitely shouldn't sleep on Aquila or the amount of tournaments Japan has.
Correct.
I definitely shouldn't sleep on that.
You definitely sleeping on that, because I was like, really? You just all right,
Yeah.
shit. Like,
I don't know. Like Fargo just I think left a big impact. Like
Oh, for sure.
oh yes,
Supernova / SmashCon is like that's a big one.
Yeah.
yes, it's a very big one.
2
I'm
P tiers is
nervous.
crazy.
I'm just nervous that like it won't make sense to me, but I'm just nervous that his wins aren't enough. Like he doesn't have good enough wins because he's winning through winners, and like the people who are supposed to be winning or losing. Like
From
my
my
bad.
perspective, like it's so much harder. Like the P tiers have a lot more impact in because like Riptide is like it was kind of a miracle.
Yeah.
Like it
It became a miracle over the course of like a couple weeks. I was
yeah.
like, wait, what? This is a what? Like P tier?
So
Oh my
so like
goodness.
someone winning like an NA P tier always hits a little different from my perspective because I know like because I'm going to the like I know how much money it's going like how hard it is for all the players to get out there and all that stuff. But Japan's gonna have a lot of P tiers too, so I might be sleeping on it a little bit, but I don't know. I'm locking, just locking.
Yeah, and it's not like Spargo got third at his Japan
Yeah.
P tier he went to. And I
I
think
need another trip for Spargo to Japan, please.
he only has 2 losses this season, which are Akola and Dormigi, which are like very. It's not like he lost to someone that's like. I think they're all top 20. Like Akola's obviously he was first, and then Dora's like top. I think he's 12th or something like that. Something like that. I don't know, somewhere in that area. So good losses. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. It's an exciting season. It's always an exciting season. Leo's the GOAT. First top 8 of the P tier this year. This entire year. So that's cool.
With Meta Knight,
Meta
the
Meta
Knight.
Knight.
answer
Well, hold
is
on. Like we
there.
gotta. I mean, Byleth
Uh,
is really like we gotta lock in. Like I don't get it.
yeah,
Like,
that's true.
okay. Like they
Hey,
just.
Meta Knight was the
Leo
big
still needs a
topic
sword
today.
character.
Um,
Still need that sword character.
I guess before we wrap up, I do want to mention I've been uploading a decent amount of Patreon stuff. As we're recording this, I uploaded some stuff. I've been doing some VOD review as well. I mentioned that at the beginning, but I'll mention it one more time. Um, yeah, I would look out for some VOD review after this. I'll probably do some of that. And yeah, thank you for supporting the show. But I think that about does it. Thanks, y'all.
Wait,
Have a good one.
wait. We talked about Meta Knight this entire episode. I got to shout out Show, one of the best Meta Knights to do it in the business. So
True.
if you do want to see more Meta Knight action, you can also check out some of Show's matches as well.
One of
He
the coolest dudes too.
yes, very cool.
Oh, all right. Have a good one, y'all.